The spaceship Odyssey glided through the starry cosmos, its destination a planet named Zorolia. Captain Elara Mason stood at the command deck, her eyes fixed on the view screen as the lush green planet grew larger. Her crew, a mix of seasoned explorers and eager young officers, prepared for landing. Today was not just another day. It was a day that might change the way the universe saw humans. As the Odyssey touched down on the soft, grassy plains of Zorolia, the door of the ship opened with a hiss. A fresh, alien breeze swept in, carrying with it the sense of unexplored flora. The crew stepped out, their boots making the first human impressions in the verdant soil of this new world. Captain Elara led her team forward. Behind them, a group of alien diplomats from the Galactic Union trailed cautiously. They were here to observe how humans handled first contact with potentially dangerous wildlife. Their faces showed a mix of curiosity and concern. Not far from the landing site, the crew encountered their first Zorolian creature. It was enormous, standing twice the height of a human, covered in thick fur with piercing yellow eyes that watched them intently. The alien diplomats gasped and took a step back, their bodies tense and ready to flee. But Captain Elara didn't flinch. She walked slowly towards the creature, her hand extended in a peaceful gesture. The creature cocked its head, observing her with what seemed like a mixture of curiosity and caution. The crew and diplomats held their breath, watching every move. Elara spoke softly, a calming tone that floated over the field. "It's okay, we're not here to harm you. We're friends." To the amazement of everyone watching, the creature lowered its head, allowing Elara to touch it. Her fingers brushed through the thick fur, and a gentle rumble vibrated from the creature. It was purring. The alien diplomats were stunned. Their technological scanners had warned them of the creature's potential for aggression. Yet here it was, acting like a giant pet under Elara's gentle touch. "See," Elara said, turning to her audience with a confident smile. "Humans have a way with animals. We see creatures and think of friends, not foes." The lesson wasn't lost on the aliens. They whispered among themselves, their eyes shifting from Elara to the creature and back again. The Odyssey's biologist, Dr. Liam, stepped forward with his scanner, taking readings while Elara kept the creature calm. "Its biology is fascinating," Liam exclaimed. "Similar to Earth's megafauna in some ways, but its neural patterns suggest high intelligence and emotional sensitivity." The crew spent the rest of the day documenting the creature, which they affectionately named Goliath. Elara's interaction had opened a door, and the creature seemed eager to interact. It followed them around, watching their equipment with keen eyes, and occasionally nudging them playfully with its massive head. As the sun set on Zorolia, the crew gathered around a makeshift campsite. The alien diplomats joined them, their earlier apprehension replaced by a newfound admiration for the human approach. "That was incredible, Captain," one of the diplomats, a Tivani named Korix, said. "We've never seen anything like it. You truly believe you can befriend any creature." Elara chuckled, tossing a nutrient bar into the air, which Goliath caught with delight. "Well, we like to try," she replied. "Humans believe that every creature has a story, and if we're patient enough, they might just share it with us." The evening ended with stories shared around a holographic fire, Earth tales mingling with alien legends. Goliath lay nearby, its massive body a protective barrier against the chill night wind. As the stars twinkled above and the tales wound down, Elara looked around at her crew and their new alien friends. She felt a deep sense of pride. Today, they had not only explored a new world, but had also bridged a gap between species with something as simple as a gentle touch and a kind word. The night whispered promises of more adventures, more creatures to meet, and more stories to share. And as the crew of the Odyssey rested under the alien sky, they dreamed of the possibilities that awaited them on Zorolia. This was just the beginning, and it was a beginning full of hope and wonder. The Feathered Giant. The next morning on Zorolia, The crew of the Odyssey awoke to the sound of unfamiliar calls echoing through the air. As they stepped out of their tents, the sky above was alive with the brilliant colors of dawn, painting the landscape in hues of orange and pink. The morning was crisp, and the air was filled with the scent of alien flowers. Captain Elara Mason gathered her team for the day's exploration. Their objective was to chart the northern region of the continent, an area marked by dense forests and high cliffs. With Goliath now a friendly giant at their side, the crew felt emboldened, ready for whatever mysteries Zerolia held. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the trees opened up to reveal a clearing. In the center, a creature unlike any they had seen before caught their attention. It was a giant bird, its feathers a dazzling array of colors that shimmered in the sunlight. The bird was perched majestically on a large rock, its sharp eyes watching the newcomers intently. The alien diplomats who accompanied the crew tensed, their previous fears creeping back. They had heard of the feathered giants of Zerolia, known for their territorial behavior and sharp talons. But where they saw danger, the humans saw an opportunity to connect. "Stay back," Elara advised the group, her tone calm but firm. She slowly approached the bird, her movements deliberate and respectful. The bird cocked its head, considering the human before it. Elara stopped a few feet away, her hand extended. "It's okay," she whispered, much like she had with Goliath. "We're here to admire your beauty, not to invade your space." To everyone's astonishment, the bird responded by flapping its wings gently, a low chirp emanating from its throat. It wasn't a sign of aggression, but rather of curiosity. Seeing the positive reaction, Tom, one of the younger crew members known for his enthusiastic spirit, couldn't hold back. "Can I try?" he asked Elara, a wide grin on his face. Elara nodded, and Tom stepped forward. He mimicked her gentle tone and stance. The bird watched him, its gaze intense but not threatening. Slowly it leaned forward, allowing Tom to stroke its vibrant feathers. The touch seemed to please it, as it chirped again, louder this time, a sound of contentment. The diplomats were amazed. "How do you do it?" one of them asked, a hint of wonder in his voice. Elara smiled, turning to the group. "We learn about creatures by observing them, not fearing them. We approach with respect and kindness. Sometimes, that's all it takes." Encouraged by this, one of the alien diplomats, a shy Ulix named Mira, decided to step closer. Under Elara's guidance, she tentatively reached out her hand. The bird, now seemingly comfortable with their presence, allowed Mira to touch its feathers. Her face lit up with a joyful smile as she made contact, a moment of connection that transcended species. The encounter with the feathered giant became the highlight of the day. Dr. Liam took numerous samples and recorded data, excited by the implications of their findings. This bird could be the key to understanding the entire ecosystem of this region, he noted enthusiastically. As the crew moved on, the bird followed them from above, soaring gracefully through the sky, its feathers catching the light and scattering rainbows across the forest canopy. That evening, as they camped under the stars, the crew discussed their experiences. The atmosphere was light, filled with laughter and shared stories. Even the diplomats, initially hesitant, shared tales of strange creatures from their own worlds, drawing parallels to the humans' approach. Elara listened to the stories, her heart full of pride. Her crew had not only conducted successful research, but had also forged a bridge of understanding and respect with their alien counterparts. As the fire crackled and the night deepened, Elara looked up at the stars, her thoughts drifting to the adventures that still awaited them. The feathered giant, now just a silhouette against the moonlit sky, seemed to watch over them, a guardian of the world they were only beginning to understand. The journey on Zerolia was far from over, and each day brought new wonders. For Elara and her crew, every creature they met, every interaction, was a step closer to unraveling the mysteries of the universe. And in their hearts, they knew that with respect and kindness, there was no limit to what they could discover. Nighttime visitors, Under the cloak of Zorolia's twilight, the campsite of the Odyssey crew hummed with quiet activity. The fading light painted the sky in deep blues and purples, while stars began to twinkle like distant lanterns. As the crew settled around the campfire, their faces illuminated by its gentle glow, the night promised a peaceful end to an exciting day. However, the serenity of the evening was soon interrupted by an unexpected rustling in the bushes nearby. The crew tensed, their recent encounters with the planet's wildlife having taught them to expect the unexpected. From the shadows emerged not a fearsome beast, but a group of small, luminescent creatures. They were no larger than a human hand, their bodies glowing softly in the dark. These creatures moved hesitantly towards the light of the campfire, their eyes wide and curious. The alien diplomats who had been tense a moment ago watched in awe as the glowing beings approached. These were the famed glowing whisperers of Zorolia, creatures mentioned in galactic catalogs, but rarely observed up close. Captain Ilara Mason, always the first to bridge connections, knelt down and extended a hand, her gesture inviting and gentle. One brave whisperer ventured closer than the rest, its tiny feet padding silently on the grass. It paused just inches from her hand, its light pulsating softly. "Hello, little one," Ilara whispered, her voice a soothing melody in the quiet of the night. In courage, the creature stepped onto her palm, its light flaring brightly for a moment as if in greeting. The crew and diplomats gathered around, their faces reflecting a mixture of delight and wonder. Tom, ever the enthusiast, gently scooped another whisperer from the ground, watching in fascination as it danced in his hand, its glow rhythmic and calming. "Look at them," Tom chuckled softly. "They're like living stars." Dr. Liam, the biologist, was quick to record this encounter, his voice low but filled with excitement. "Their bioluminescence is remarkable. It might be a form of communication or a way to attract mates. Maybe they're curious about our light too." As more whisperers joined, the crew shared out small treats they had prepared, pieces of fruit from the ship's stores, which the creatures approached with eagerness. Their tiny mouths nibbled at the offerings, and soon the crew was not just observers but hosts to a gentle feast under the stars. Seeing the humans interact so freely, Mira, the shy Ulix diplomat, mustered her courage. With encouragement from Ilara, she reached out her hand. A whisperer, emboldened by the others, scampered across to her, its glow warming. Mira's face lit up with a smile, her earlier apprehension forgotten. "This is incredible," Mira said, her voice filled with a new understanding. "Your approach, it's all about trust, isn't it?" Ilara nodded, her eyes on the creatures playing around them. "Yes, it's about showing we mean no harm. Most creatures can sense that, even if they don't understand us fully." As the night deepened, the whisperers seemed to become more comfortable, their glow intensifying around the humans who treated them with kindness. The campsite turned into a small beacon of light, a dot of warmth on the cool planet. Later, as the whisperers eventually retreated back into the darkness, leaving a trail of light like falling stars, the crew sat back, their hearts full from the encounter. "That was magical," one of the crew members said, the sentiment echoed by nods and murmurs of agreement. Captain Ilara looked around at her diverse team and the diplomats from various corners of the galaxy, all united by the shared wonder of the night. "Every time we meet a new species, it's a chance to learn, not just about them, but about ourselves, about the things we share across the stars." The diplomats, once skeptical of the human methods, now showed open respect and fascination. They talked among themselves, their voices low, discussing the implications of what they had seen. The night ended with stories about the whisperers, as the crew shared tales of similar creatures from Earth, and the diplomats recounted legends from their own worlds where light and life were celebrated. As they retired to their tents, the crew of the Odyssey felt a renewed sense of purpose. Each creature they met, each successful interaction, brought them closer to understanding the vast, mysterious universe they were part of. And as they drifted off to sleep, the soft glow of departing whisperers flickered in their dreams, a reminder of the beauty and peace that awaited those who approached the unknown with an open heart and mind. The aquatic encounter. The morning after their magical night with the glowing whisperers, the crew of the Odyssey felt invigorated, ready to explore further the mysteries of Zerolia. Today's mission was to survey the aquatic ecosystems of a large, tranquil river flowing just a few kilometers from their camp. Captain Ilara Mason briefed her team with a smile. Water bodies on alien planets are often home to some of the most fascinating creatures. Let's see what Zerolia has to offer. As the crew approached the river, the sound of rushing water filled the air, mingling with the calls of unseen creatures. The river itself was a wide expanse of crystal-clear water, flowing gently through the lush landscape. Along its banks, strange, colorful plants swayed in the breeze, adding to the picturesque scenery. Ilara, along with Dr. Liam and Tom, donned their specialized suits designed for aquatic exploration. They were sleek and equipped with sensors to monitor their surroundings and communicate back to the rest of the team on the shore. Just remember, Ilara called out as they prepared to enter the water, approach all aquatic life with the same respect we show land creatures. With a splash, the trio entered the river, the cool water enveloping them. Below the surface, the river was alive with activity. Schools of small, shimmering fish darted around, their scales reflecting the sunlight filtering through the water. Larger, more curious creatures peered out from behind rocks, their eyes tracking the human intruders with interest. Dr. Liam was the first to spot something unusual. A small alien creature, trapped under a fallen branch near the river, struggled to free itself. Its skin was a vibrant blue, almost glowing against the muted colors of the sand and rocks. "Over here," he signaled, pointing out the distressed creature to Ilara and Tom. Without hesitation, Ilara swam towards the creature, her movements careful to not startle it further. She reached the branch and gently lifted it, her strength aided by the buoyancy of the water. The creature paused, its bright eyes fixed on Ilara, then swiftly darted away, disappearing into a cloud of sandy mist kicked up from the river. "That was close," Ilara said through her communicator, her voice tinged with relief. "Seems like it's unharmed." Tom, who had watched the rescue, added, "Seeing you in action, Captain, no wonder even the wildlife trusts us." The trio continued their exploration, documenting the diverse aquatic life. Dr. Liam collected samples and data, his excitement palpable. This river could hold key insights into the entire ecosystem of Zerolia. The biodiversity here is astounding. As they made their way back to shore, a sudden movement caught their attention. A large, serpentine creature emerged from the depths of the river, its scales glistening with a myriad of colors. It moved gracefully, undulating through the water with a presence that commanded attention. The crew tensed, ready for any sign of aggression. However, the creature simply observed them, its large eyes full of curiosity rather than malice. Remembering their mission of peace and understanding, Ilara extended her hand towards the creature. In a moment that felt suspended in time, the creature approached and gently brushed against her hand, its touch light and fleeting. Back on shore, the rest of the crew and the alien diplomats awaited their return, eager to hear about their underwater adventures. Ilara, Tom, and Dr. Liam shared their experiences, each tale filled with wonder and a deep respect for the river's inhabitants. The respect we show them often leads to mutual understanding, even beneath the water. Ilara explained to the gathered diplomats, who listened with rapt attention. One of the diplomats, a previously skeptical Vorani named Threx, spoke up. "Your methods are unconventional, Captain Mason, but the results are undeniable. You humans have a way of connecting with life forms that is quite extraordinary." That evening, as the crew sat around their campfire, the conversation was lively, filled with discussions about conservation and the ethical exploration of alien ecosystems. The story of the aquatic encounter, particularly the rescue and the peaceful interaction with the serpentine creature, became a symbol of hope and coexistence. As the fire died down and the stars claimed the sky, Ilara looked around at her diverse team and their new friends from the Galactic Union. They had come together from across the stars, united by a common goal of understanding and respecting the life that thrived on this beautiful planet. "This is just the beginning," she mused aloud. "With respect and empathy, there's no limit to what we can learn from each other." And as the night deepened on Zorolia, the crew of the Odyssey rested, their dreams filled with visions of the river and its vibrant life, a reminder of the delicate balance they were there to study and preserve. Farewell to Zorolia. The final day of the Odyssey cruise expedition on Zorolia arrived with a soft, golden sunrise that bathed the alien landscape in a warm glow. The crew packed their equipment with mixed feelings of accomplishment and sadness. Their time on this vibrant planet had been short, but filled with incredible discoveries and newfound friendships. Captain Ilara Mason gathered her team and the accompanying diplomats for a final meeting near the landing site of their ship, the Odyssey. The atmosphere was one of celebration, yet there was an undeniable hint of nostalgia in the air as they prepared to say goodbye to Zorolia. "We've learned so much," Ilara began, her voice echoing slightly in the open space. "Not just about the flora and fauna of Zorolia, but about how to approach the unknown with respect and curiosity. These lessons will go far beyond today, influencing how we interact with all forms of life across the galaxy." The diplomats, once cautious and reserved, now stood among the humans as allies and friends. They shared their gratitude, with each speaking a few words about their experience. A tall, slender diplomat from the planet Forani, Threx, who had been particularly transformed by the journey, stepped forward. "Captain Mason, your leadership and your crew's compassion have opened our eyes. We return to our worlds as ambassadors for the methods we've witnessed here." The crew then took a final walk through the surrounding area, visiting the spots that had become significant to them over their stay. They stopped by the river where they had encountered the serpentine creature and the field where Ilara had first calmed the giant bird. At each location, they left a small marker, a token of their visit, designed to be eco-friendly and non-intrusive. As they returned to the Odyssey, the crew's biologist, Dr. Liam, released the last of the samples he had taken into a specially designed container that would stay on Zorolia for ongoing environmental monitoring. "This way, we keep learning, even when we're light years away," he explained, securing the container in the ground. The departure ceremony was brief but heartfelt. The diplomats from the Galactic Union presented the crew with a small, crafted statue representing the glowing Whisperers as a token of their gratitude and the enduring bond formed during the mission. Ilara accepted the gift, her eyes glinting with unshed tears. "This represents more than just our time here. It's a symbol of hope and unity. Thank you, from all of us." With final hugs and handshakes, the crew boarded the Odyssey. Ilara took one last look at Zorolia, the wild and wondrous planet that had taught them so much. She whispered a quiet farewell, then turned and headed into the ship. As the Odyssey lifted off, soaring into the sky and beyond, the crew gathered at the rear viewing deck, watching Zorolia shrink in the distance. The planet, with its diverse landscapes and extraordinary creatures, had left an indelible mark on their hearts and minds. Tom, always the most vocal, broke the silence. "It's hard to leave, but I'm excited about where we're headed next. Imagine what's out there, waiting for us." Dr. Liam nodded in agreement. Every planet has its own stories to tell. Zorolia's were incredible, but there are countless others across the stars. As the planet disappeared from view, Ilara turned to her crew. "This journey never really ends," she said. "Each mission, each planet, enriches us. We carry Zorolia with us now, in the lessons we've learned and the friendships we've made. Let's keep moving forward, carrying this spirit of exploration and respect wherever we go." The crew nodded, their faces a mix of pride and determination. The Odyssey continued its voyage, cutting a path through the cosmos, its crew ready to face new challenges and discover new worlds, forever changed by their time on Zerolia. The stars ahead promised more adventures, more mysteries to unravel, and more life to discover. And as they ventured into the unknown, the crew of the Odyssey knew they were not just explorers, but also guardians of the delicate balance that connected all life in the universe. They were ready for whatever lay ahead, with open minds and compassionate hearts.